So this section is Law of Cosines, and there's some rules on when we use Law of Sines and when we use Law of Cosines. So it's in your notes. I have it here. It's on page 8. But here is Law of Sines. And it's best to use Law of Sines if you have two sides and a non-included angle. So that's like SSA. And then two angles and any side. So AAS, ASA. These are triangle congruencies that I'm talking about. And then here's Law of Cosines. Looks kind of complicated. It's not that bad. So we are going to use Law of Cosines when we only know the side lengths, all three sides, or we have two sides in the included angle. So that's SAS. Okay, so Law of Cosines, there's 3, but we're just going to use 1 depending on what we have. So let's see. Use Law of Cosines, it says, to find the length of side A. So here's my triangle, ABC, and then side lengths, lowercase ABC. So we're trying to find A, where B is 19, and C is 25, and A is 30. So this triangle is side, side, and then we have the included angle, the angle that makes up from those two sides. So that's side angle side. And we want A. So we're going to use the equation that starts with little a, and it's a squared, and then the angle that we use is also a, and I put it here at the end because I got to fill in the blanks. Then we use the other two sides, b squared plus c squared minus 2 times b times c times cosine of a. And then those change based on what you're looking for. It's the side squared with the angle, and then the other sides you add and square and then subtract times 2. And I like to put times between them, or else sometimes it just looks like a bunch of letters running together. Okay, so let's fill in what we have. We have b squared, so 19 squared plus 25 squared minus 2 times b, which is 19, times c, which is 25, times cosine, and angle A is 30. So what we're going to do is this whole thing is going to go in the calculator, and then to get A, we have to take the square root of both sides. So A is actually the square root of this whole thing. So I'm just going to type it in with the square root. So square root 19 squared plus 25 squared minus 2 times 19 times 25 times cosine of 30. That's a lot, but what that gives us is side A, 12.78. Okay, so here we have the triangle picture, and let A be 22 and B be 25 and angle C be 25 degrees. Find the value of angle A, rounding to the nearest degree. So what we have here is side, angle, side. So it's best to use Law of Cosines. And we need angle A. So out of our 3 formulas, the only one with angle A, it has cosine of A down here at the bottom, or at the back of the formula, and then I'll fill in the rest. It's a squared, because the beginning and the end are always the same letter, and then b squared plus c squared minus 2 times b times c times cosine of a. Okay, so we don't have c, and we don't have a. So this is not the formula that we're going to use. And I wanted to show you that because it's sometimes you have to go kind of roundabout to get what you need. Okay, so we have angle C and then A and B. So out of my formulas, I have angle C and A and B. I can get side C, and then we can use law of sines. So we're actually going to use the one where we're finding side C, which I know it feels like a lot of work, and it kind of is. And then once we have this side, we can use law of sines to find angle A. So sometimes when you think you know the formula, make sure there's just one missing variable. That's the trick. Okay, so C squared is what we don't know. We're trying to find C squared, but we know A squared plus B squared minus 2 times A times B times cosine of C. And then I'm going to do what we did last time. We're going to square root both sides because we just want C. Okay, so I like to just go through and change the numbers. Once I already have it typed in, I just arrow over. So this was from our last problem. So C is 10.59 rounded. And now we have all the sides. And I also have an angle across from a side. So that means I can use that sine of angle C over C. And I need angle A, but I have side A. Okay, so I'm going to bring it down here. Sine of C, which is 25, over what we just found, 10.59, equals sine of A over 22. And now I'm going to cross multiply, so 22 times sine of 25 equals 10.59 times sine of A. So to solve, we're going to divide both sides by 10.59. And then again, I want the inverse sign of both sides because I just want A. I don't want sine of A. Okay, and this is from the last section, so it's a good review and it's a reminder that the things we learned in the past we're going to keep using. So A is 61.39 or 61.44 because we've rounded right here. So I bet we could get that if we changed our round to answer. See how because I rounded here, I was off on my decimals, but when I put in the full number, no rounding, it is 61.44. So every time you round, your number changes. So you really want to try not to round until the very end. Where's my problem? Okay, let angle B equal 114, side B 15, and side C 5. Solve for side A in the figure and round your answer to the nearest tenth. Okay, so this is the same thing. We don't have side A or angle A, but we have side B and side C. We can actually use law of sines because this is angle, side, side. So I know this section is law of cosines, but sometimes you should use law of sines if you can. Because if I use law of cosines, I could solve for angle C, and that's going to get me 2 angles to get angle A. But because I'm going to switch, don't freak out. I'm going to use law of cosines just so we can review it. I think you guys are really familiar with law of sines. Okay, so C squared equals A squared. No, I can't use law of cosines. I wanted to try. We're using law of sines. Sorry. Sine of B over B equals sine of C over C. Okay, so B is 114, B is 15. We're gonna find angle C, and little c is 5. So 5 times sine of 114 equals 15 times sine of c. All right, divide both sides by 15. I don't want sine, I want c. So I'm going to take inverse sine of both sides. All right, so let's type this in. 5 times sine of 114 over 15. So 17.73. And that is angle C, but it's asking for side A. So we still have a little bit of work to do. We're going to use our property that we know there's 180 degrees in a triangle. So I'm going to find angle A. $48.27. And then now we have almost the whole triangle, but the one side we're looking for. So now we can use law of sines again, but we're going to use angle A because we need side A. And then you can use B or C. I'm going to use B. So sine of angle A, which is 48.27, over A, sine of B, which is 114, and then side B is 15. So let's cross multiply that. And this time we don't have to do inverse because we're solving for a side. So we're just going to divide by sine of 114. And that's going to give us A, which is what we're looking for. So this goes in the calculator. 15 times sine of 48.27. Oh, all divided by sine of 114. So 12.25 would be side A. And we found the whole triangle on that one.